Thank you so much for coming back to watch another video here at the Awakening of Zoo. To get back into the topic of spirituality, of being awakened and all that type of shit. Not even get back to it because we always were on it. Today we are talking about our shadow side, our ego. That nigga that beats our minds up like it's nothing, like it's battle time type shit. The one that keeps you on the battle with yourself at all times. Let me give you a brief explanation. Let's start with the psychological meaning of the ego. It's whatever comes to your mind when you think of yourself. Quick examples that represents the ego is doubting yourself. When you have anxiety, when all these things, different type of awarenesses or overthinking do come from the ego, because the ego does not know the future, but the spirit does. For example, let me give you a little quick lesson on the spirit. This amazing piece of art that I drew over here says that little, there you go, you see that little circle that says spirit right there? That is your foundation. That's where everything comes from. That's where all your strength comes from. That's where the power, the strength, the ability, that energy, that source, that the rose that woke up Jesus from the dead, rose Jesus from the dead, is right there within you in the spirit. Supposedly the Bible states all of these things. And quick fun fact, actually I believe, you know how everything has its reason, every little religion has a little bit of truth to it. And what many people miss out on is that the Bible really, it's like the class for the spirit. Like that's where you learn of what the spirit actually is. That was Jesus' job, to teach people what the spirit is. So I'm not saying you should believe in all that. I'm just giving you a little heads up. So right here, right? Your spirit, the other circle right here is your soul, and this is the body. When the soul and the body are put together, that's when we have an ego reaction. When we have the spirit and the soul together, that's when we are aware, mindfulness, and on track. Because the spirit is the only one that can connect to the sources above us, especially God, if you believe him. But everybody has a different God, whatever you call him, whatever you are, no matter what, you believe in one thing, and you always believe in that one thing. No matter what it is still a higher self, and it's you. It's whatever you put into yourself to know that. And don't forget that the spirit has to connect to that. So we need to do shadow work in order to move away from the body and connect to the spirit. This is why I constantly tell my little sister, like, okay, 1 or 2 days is fine, but don't do it continuously, because it becomes addicting to get sad, which is weird. But look at liquor. Liquor is a depressant, and people are addicted to it. Sadness is addicting, and people don't want to understand that, and I can't express myself enough when I speak about that. But hey, you know, people learn how to cooperate with their feelings and emotions themselves, you know, like only them know what the true feeling of to be themselves is. But I always recommend to keep yourself busy, but not to the extent where you're wearing yourself out. Care about other things in yourself, but not to the extent that you're making yourself suffer. And logical, be logical, like be true to yourself. Like, don't be ignorant, don't lie to yourself because you don't want to accept certain things. The number one thing about shadow work is when you start accepting instead of rejecting or doubting or worrying of what people are saying. Fuck it, accept it. Maybe it's a shadow side you need to work on. For example, if somebody calls you a manipulative, abusive bitch, but mind, I expected a lot from her, which is something we should not do. So you guys gotta learn. from me, from that shadow side of mine. Do not expect anything from anyone. You should not expect shit from anyone in the world. But not even from yourself too much, to the extent that you suffer, but to the point where you know what works, you know, and where you have to be realistic, because only you know your own higher power. But you can only expect other people's higher power, but you shouldn't expect it, because you might know what its higher power is, but do that person know its potential? Like, the person might not feel potential enough to be that person you expect them to be. So this is where things fail. So don't expect, because that's what would bring you suffrage. And if you expect, are you really working on your shadow side? Like, that is one of the things that like is really fucking us all of us up, because we expect so much from everything and from ourselves. We know our true potential, and we, as you and your higher self, we know what's right from wrong. And like I said, when the ego is more connected to the spirit, you're going off of ideas, not from known facts, because the universe does speak to you all the time, and you have to listen to it. Because if you don't listen to the universe is God, the universe is within you. You are the spirit is the only thing that can connect to higher things. So if you think about it, like, it makes sense to be able to tame the ego, so you can be able to feel that universal connection to the universe, like to feel that actual power that connects to the universe, that gives us all this strength and shit. The only reason I say that, because the spiritual meaning of the ego is the veil of individual personality that bars you from having an universal existence. Our spiritual anatomy, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, it's supposed to work together, not against each other. And what the spirit wants is that togetherness, wholesome. Although everything bothers me and I take everything fucking personal, and people fucking piss me off, and I get so sad, and I don't know where I'm anxious. Fuck that. That's the ego. When you, like I said, when you take mindfulness and practice all of that meditation, you start recognizing when the ego is acting up. For example, now I'm more accepting over the things that I do. I want to fix it right away, you know, but people won't believe that you accepted the fact that what they told you is true. It's really important to be able to accept whatever comes your way. Fuck what people say, but take it in consideration, because some people see what we don't see, you know, and some people say fucked up shit when they're angry, but then again, some people reflect who you are, and then again, it's just shadow work that everybody needs to do. And if you do it, other people will, because it will reflect. That's how the universe works. This one, when people want to be rich, reflect wealth so the universe can give it back to you. I'm not saying dress all flashy and shit. Reflect spiritual wealth, love wealth, health wealth, and watch how the universe will give back to you. Be a good human. Bring wealth to the universe. Show the universe what would you do with that money before you have that money, so it knows it can trust you or something, you know. The universe doesn't really trust you when you're egoistic, because an egoistic person would easily betray somebody, and the universe does not want to be betrayed either, because it has feelings, and it also is another energy, and it also has emotions and their consciousness and everything. So it does not want to be betrayed, you know. The ego identifies with a lot of things. Buddha says not to identify with things. So then again, you're just taming your desires. You're taming, I meant to say taming whatever is making you itch to be a bad person, and you're not even noticing that. You can't be a narcissist. You can't necessarily have to be diagnosed that you're a narcissist, because there's a lot of people in this world that have narcissistic ways and are not really diagnosed. They're just in an egoistic state. They're where the ego is doesn't know the personalities, it doesn't recognize the good in other people, and it's always judging and thinks, oh, I can't even explain it. When you catch yourself in a judgy state or something, it's your ego representing your spirit. But remember, your spirit represents who you really are. It carries all your memories, it carries all your strength. Remember, the spirit carries the power, the strength, that energy that woke up Jesus from the dead. And I know people are like, you're bullshit. Listen, if everybody touched into their psychic abilities, there will be fucking superhumans all over the world. But since there's a lot of more bad people sometimes in the world than good people, God can't really trust people with those type of power and strength in their hands. So he made it to where you have to know how to work with it. You have to earn it in order for him to gift it to you. Don't take things personal. Love everybody and learn and accept certain things, because we do have fucked up habits and we don't want to fix it, or we can't fix it because we don't accept it. Your future starts by accepting your bullshit from the now and letting it go. Once you accept it, you have let it go. Now you have to continue doing the shadow work so you can continue rising from that vibration. Look at that. After acceptance, you find reason. That's when you start looking for your purpose, your true purpose here on earth, because there's not only one, there's multiple. This is why we have a life and a certain sentence that we have to complete much missions for the above and the near future, because there's different timelines. I don't know how you see the world and how you see lives, but you can look at it as timelines. Like in your near future, things have already happened. This is why we are living through things now. So whatever you make, the decision you make now is going to affect the near future. And the future sometimes sends you messages so you can fix things now because they already experienced it. And I believe that shit. So this is why this skill exists. So you can rise up from all these negative emotions and become the lovable, joyful, peaceful person you're supposed to be. I know they say we need a balance in between good and bad, which is true, but you also have to be more of the other thing, which is being better and accepting and lovable and peaceful, so you can let in better energy that would bring you more happiness. And when you're happy, you attract abundance, and abundance is where it is at. Use your energy wisely. Use your time wisely. Lately, I've been a procrastinator, but this is why I'm making this video, to show you that I understood that about myself, and I'm going to do something about it. So I'm making a video now too, because I've been procrastinating making videos too for whatever reason. I don't know, but this is what shadow work is for. So to cut this video, I just want to tell you to love and to remember these phrases that will raise your vibration, which is I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. 4 phrases that will raise your vibration. Show love to your family, even if they don't show you it, because if they don't show you the love, I think you have the purpose where you have to show your family how to love. You have to be the light to your family, and your purpose is to help them all ascend. And also, for you to ascend, you need to ascend so they can all ascend. And it's not an easy task, because one of my purposes too is to help my family ascend into a higher consciousness, and many of us have that purpose. So work on yourself, because there's harder tasks, but there's nothing that's not impossible for you to do, because anything that is going to happen has already happened somewhere in the near future, but it can always change for what you do now. What you do now has a butterfly effect I don't know if you ever heard that. It's like where a butterfly flocked in Mexico, here in Connecticut, created a 3-foot storm or some shit like that. That's how things happen, you know, like cause and effect. Whatever you do now, it's gonna affect the future. No matter what you do, good or bad. So make sure you choose wisely, because the future hasn't come, and you can make many mistakes in the present that will cause many suffering in the future. And you already suffered enough here in the present, so imagine continual suffering in the future. Change that for yourself. With the spirit, the suffering will be much more minimal, because don't forget, we are humans still, and we have emotions and an ego that we have to tame. But there's nothing that we cannot handle. So this is why I'm closing the video with much love, happiness, acceptance, and peace. Love each other. Tell somebody you love them. Tell your mom you love them. Tell your sister you love them. Even though they be like, fuck you, tell them that you love them. Because you don't know what they might be going through, and some people would never speak up. Never take things personal. Love yourself first and foremost. Have a good day, night, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this video. Bless your timeline. Bless your soul. Bless your life. Bless your happiness. All abundance for all of us. Thank you so much for watching the awakening of Zoo.